Picture this. The Hollywood actress who once waltzed into Windsor is now rumored to be drafting the most expensive royal breakup since Wallis Simpson, complete with pre-positioned lawyers, a lockdown California mansion, and 2 royal toddlers as the ultimate bargaining chips. Insiders say Meghan's already mingling with CEOs, studio moguls, even political power brokers, while Harry scrambles to patch things up with his family. Today we're unpacking 3 explosives right out of the gate: why whispers call Harry the stepping stone, how Archie and Lili could anchor the custody chessboard, and the elite circles predicting Meghan's next throne won't have a crown on it. Strap in! This isn't tabloid gossip, it's a play-by-play of a potential divorce deal that could dwarf Megxit in money, headlines, and collateral damage.
But I mean, imagine if Meghan left Harry. It would destroy her reputation. She would be eviscerated publicly because she's already slipped into this kind of category on social media, the way that pop culture commentators talk.
The world swooned as Meghan glided down St. George's Chapel aisle. But palace aides now admit the happily ever after showed stress fractures almost immediately. Harry surrendered senior duties, military titles, and a London home for California sunshine, yet Meghan's brand kept expanding far beyond Duchess of Sussex. Friends noticed the narrative pivot. Less royal romance, more Meghan Inc., complete with podcasts, Netflix camera crews, and a polished victim-to-victor storyline. It gets worse. Staff who once waved off divorce talk as clickbait now treat it like an office rumor with legs, because separation prep often starts long before legal papers hit the court clerk's desk. While Harry plots family olive branches, Meghan is turning up at invite-only dinners with tech billionaires, Oscar-winning producers, and 2 former senators said to be scouting diverse female candidates. Her speaking contracts list global changemaker, rather than former royal, and every new project. Skincare trademarks here, streaming concept there, arrives minus Harry's name on the masthead. The transition is clear. She's trading tiaras for executive suites. Sources at one coastal fundraiser whispered that Meghan arrived solo, fielded policy questions with ease, and left guests convinced she's eyeing a stage bigger than Buckingham. But that wasn't the whole story, because behind those smooth appearances, insiders claim Harry is being quietly walled off, emotionally and professionally, setting up a divorce scenario where the Duchess holds every card. Harry once breezed through palace corridors with a grin and a rugby joke. Now staff say every request filters through Meghan's inner circle first, right down to which family Zoom calls get answered. Former aides claim reliable confidants like Nanny Tiggy and pal Tom Inskip have been ghost-edged from his phone. The result? A prince cut off from the only people who could talk him off the ledge. Insiders add a darker layer. Archie and Lili aren't just adorable heirs, they're anchor points. Meghan controls every photo release, every holiday trip, every grand parental visit. One Montecito staffer summed it up in a single line: "She owns the calendar, he follows it." Friends fear that dynamic would transfer straight into custody negotiations. California courts favor primary caregivers, and Meghan's been clocking those hours. Each time Harry talks reconciliation, Invictus invites for William, a birthday video for Charles. Sources say Meghan reminds him the kids need stability, code for no sudden UK moves. Isolation becomes leverage, and leverage becomes power. But the cost of that power is stacking on Harry's side of the ledger. Strip away the glamour and the numbers sting. Loss of royal security, £7 million annually. Frogmore eviction, £11 million sunk into Montecito upkeep, and an approval rating that nosedived 40 points since 2019. Even his beloved military patronages slipped away, leaving veterans puzzled at a leader who can't attend parades without a paid speaking slot. Desperate to reclaim footing, Harry has floated peace gestures. King Charles at Invictus, William at a California polo charity, but palace courtiers allegedly filed them under too little, too late. Journalists note the body language: Harry's stiff shoulders in interviews, nervous hand rubs, when Meghan fields questions alone. One former equerry calls it the look of a prince realizing the crown he ditched was also a shield. Yet every attempt to step back into royal sunlight collides with Meghan's expanding solo eclipse. Sponsors call her the asset, and Harry feels it. Associates report late-night chats where he wonders if he still brings value beyond the surname, and whispers about Meghan's next power seat, one higher than Hollywood or Windsor. Make that sacrifice look like a mere down payment. Meghan for Senate started as a podcast joke. Then lobbyists in DC began swapping it across PowerPoints. Insiders say she's hit 2 private dinners with Silicon Valley mega donors and a political strategy firm once hired by Barack Obama. On the West Coast, she's huddling with a streaming CEO about a docuseries positioned around, get this, global leadership, not royalty. And in every room, Harry's name surfaces only when someone asks if he'll cameo. Brand analysts have already spotted the reframe. Press releases now headline Meghan Founder rather than Duchess of Sussex. Her engagement ring has quietly disappeared from several recent photos. Stylists claim maintenance, but GOP fundraisers joke she's removing British baggage before a potential campaign filing. A Montecito neighbor swears the couple's shared office is being subdivided, one wing for Archewell, the other for a yet-to-be-named Civic Impact Fund. If the divorce rumor hits court dockets, Meghan walks in with a ready-made narrative. Single mother, global feminist, and, crucially, owner of her own political future. But to launch that future, she needs the current prince to shrink further into the background. Since Megxit, Harry's public calendar has thinned to two pillars, Invictus and paid keynotes about trauma. Yet even those safe zones show cracks. At a recent mental health summit, body language experts clocked him rubbing his ring finger like it itched. Afterwards, he skipped the networking dinner entirely. Friends say he spends evenings doom-scrolling British headlines, texting William unsent drafts, then deleting them. Royal aides whisper that William, once willing to mediate, now screens calls. Charles offered a Balmoral weekend to reset bonds. Meghan allegedly vetoed it as too stressful for the children. Harry agreed, then confided to a friend he felt boxed in by California sunshine. Therapists call it identity foreclosure. He ditched royal duty for a new script, but the co-author might be cutting his lines. Even Silicon Valley partners note his Zoom square is often muted while Meghan drives the deck. One venture capitalist quipped, "Great mascot, but we don't know what he does." The deeper irony? Every charitable olive branch Harry extends risks, looking like a solo audition, fueling Meghan's leverage, not diluting it. And nothing underscores that imbalance more than the custody calculus swirling around Archie and Lili. Every photo of Archie or Lili filters through Meghan's approval queue. Release timing, lighting, even alt text for accessibility. Royal relatives receive birthday snapshots hours before they hit social, if at all. Why the micromanagement? Because, as one Montecito aide whispered, the kids are the gravity that keeps Harry in orbit. California family law favors the parent who provides day-to-day stability. Since Harry travels for Invictus and keynote gigs, Meghan's calendar of preschool pickups and playdate hosting quietly cements primary caregiver status. That legal edge isn't lost on her inner circle. A former nanny recalls explicit instructions to log Harry's daily involvement in case custody ever needs clarity. Insiders also say Meghan uses the children as diplomatic chips. A planned Windsor christening fell apart when she insisted on Netflix camera access. Buckingham balked, the event moved stateside, and royal godparent roles dissolved into guesswork. Each boundary line drawn tightens her hand, because any move Harry makes must account for access to his kids. And as talk of separate residences gains volume, the lawyers' sharpening pencils are just getting started. Legal teams on both coasts are already swapping draft terms under strict NDAs. Meghan's camp, heavy with Hollywood dealmakers, reportedly wants California jurisdiction locked in, where spousal support formulas and media privacy laws tilt her way. Harry's advisors prefer a UK venue, leveraging royal security precedents and a tighter press gag. Asset division is a minefield. Shared Montecito estate, Netflix and Spotify advance money, and future earnings tied to the Sussex trademark. One entertainment attorney predicts a brand split clause where Meghan retains media IP while Harry keeps Invictus and possibly a percentage of book royalties as alimony offset. But the nuclear topic is custody. Sources say Meghan's lawyers floated a default 70/30 residential split, citing Harry's travel. Harry's side countered with dual nation schooling, 2 semesters in the UK, 2 in the US, only to be told that would disrupt the children's consistency, read, weaken Meghan's primary parent claim. Mediation is scheduled for late autumn, hidden under the label Archewell Governance Meeting in a Santa Barbara law firm's calendar. Neither side wants open court. Depositions would feed tabloids for years. Yet every private draft leaks in whispers, fueling the narrative that a billion-view fairy tale is one signature away from an historic royal dissolution. And if that signature hits paper, the financial, reputational, and constitutional shockwaves will dwarf Megxit overnight. Across the Atlantic, Charles's comms chief is stockpiling contingency statements like sandbags. One draft frames Harry's potential split as a private family matter, another positions the crown as a steady anchor for the children's heritage. William's team quietly polls whether British taxpayers would still stomach subsidizing security for half American royals. Even courtiers who once vowed neutrality now study California custody statutes at breakfast. The palace's true weapon, however, is narrative timing. A senior aide reportedly maintains a sealed folder of never-released anecdotes, favorable to Harry, neutral to Meghan, ready to drop the moment divorce news breaks. The strategy is simple. If Meghan controls the first headline, Windsor will flood the next 10. Meanwhile, archetypal British outlets have lined up sympathetic features on Harry's military service and mental health advocacy, framing him as the wounded soldier doing his best for his kids. But that plan only works if Harry cooperates, and insiders say his trust in palace spin doctors is paper thin. With mediation penciled in and brand deals paused, the Sussex empire sits on a ticking clock. If a settlement is reached before holiday quarter, Meghan's solo projects can launch in January with a fresh single-mom powerhouse hook. If talks stall, Netflix renewal clauses, speaking tour deposits, and Archwell donor pledges all dangle in limbo. For Harry, every delay deepens identity debt, stuck between a royal family that mistrusts him and a California machine that may move on without him. Friends say he rehearses two futures in the mirror, one in Windsor tweeds, one in Santa Barbara athleisure. Neither fits. The children's schooling cutoff, age 5, for formal prep, looms in 6 months. Whichever country they start in heavily influences any judge's jurisdiction. Lawyers call it the point of no return milestone. And the public? They've traded popcorn for shot clocks, counting days until either a historic reconciliation banner or a TMZ courthouse photo decides the narrative. What began as Hollywood meets Windsor now edges toward the most scrutinized divorce deal of the century. Meghan's power network, Harry's fading shield, the children's dual passports, and a palace ready to reclaim the story. Each piece is locked in a game where no outcome leaves everyone whole. Will Meghan pivot from Duchess to global operator free of royal strings? Can Harry rescue purpose without losing daily life with his kids? Or does the crown, scarred yet stoic, outlast another storm by simply waiting for the headlines to turn? One signed agreement will answer all 3 questions, and that ink could hit paper before the world finishes binge watching their last docuseries. Keep your alerts on. The next push notification might mark the official end of the modern fairy tale and the birth of its most expensive epilogue. And that's a wrap! If today's scoop had you raising an eyebrow or two, tap that like button to let us know. Got a hot take or inside tea? Drop it in the comments so the whole crew can weigh in. Not part of the fam yet? Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because the next twist is always one upload away.